like, what else are you for, federal government, other than when like there's some fucking worldwide pandemic that is destroying everyone's economic, their income, and you have kids suffering? Like, what else are you for? What is the point of a government if you're not going to help people and bail them out?
What up, world? Welcome back to another episode of the AmeriPodcast, episode 141.
It's a palindrome.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm talking about.
Today is Wednesday, February 24th, 2021, for those of you listening in the future. And we're going to keep it real short and sweet here today. Just talk about the stimulus checks. Stimulate your mind, your heart, your body, your spirit. So let's do it.
Hey, you know what's fun?
And your wallet and your genitals. Let's get it going. Here we go.
Can I side note you real quick? Every number in the date and the podcast number is a multiple. There's 1, 2s, and 4s, and that's it. That's very satisfying, right? Because 1 doubled to 2, doubled to 4, boom. Love these numbers. Yeah, so speaking of numbers, 1.9 trillion. Oh, you got to introduce us and shit. I'm all off.
And our mathematician this evening, Mr. John Anderson out of the Denver metro area. How you doing
everybody
today, sir?
I'm doing swell, obviously. How are you guys?
Good. You look good.
Hey, thanks.
You look great. You look great, actually. You look really good.
Hey, you do too.
Thank you. And our West Coast correspondent, Mr. Tyler Grillo. How are you this evening, sir?
Why, hello. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Glad that we've actually, mixed feelings. We've had like this little mini heat wave. It was like 75 yesterday, and it was in the low 70s again today, which is fun for nice, but also worried that means that the rains are not going to come back, which we desperately need. We're way under. We're already in a drought. So, anyways,
I think we are too. I don't think the snowpack looks very good, although we are supposed to get snow tonight. And we need the moisture, which I think is the most Colorado phrase ever.
Yeah.
But it's okay because we need the moisture.
Sucks for the people who do not like the word moisture. But let's get into it, huh? Because I know we don't have a whole lot of time this evening.
That sounds good, Blake Mannion, our host.
Oh, yeah. And I'm your host, Blake Mannion.
AKA
the tables
Balake.
have turned.
What kind of wine you drinking tonight, Blake?
This is a Cabernet Sauvignon by what is it? Put me on the spot here.
That's okay. I just need to know that you're going by Balake Cabernet tonight. That's all I need to know.
Yeah. I like that one better, I think.
And yeah, I'm your host, Mr. Balake Cabernet this evening. So let's get into it. We're going to just give you a little update here. I don't know much about what's going on. I do know that there's a vote going into play this week on if they can come to an agreement on some things. But I think, Anderson, you probably know a little bit more than me. You want to take it away?
The House Democrats expect to pass the Biden relief bill, $1.9 trillion on Friday. Then it's going to go to this. Yeah, right. And that's probably small. And like the one thing is, some people will disagree with me about this, but they're wrong.
Duh.
Don't
even tell me what it is. I know they're wrong already. Sorry, continue.
Of course.
There's way more rip because I'm an economist. You're about to hear it. There's way more risk in going too little on this than too much. Like, let's just go on this. So the House is going to pass 1.9 trillion. We'll see what the Senate does with it. We're going to get some amount of that, but we'll see how big it is. Also, we'll see if the minimum wage is going to be included, because because we have a really fun system. You basically can't pass a bill without 60 votes in the House or in the Senate, because the Republicans will filibuster it. And so you need to overcome a filibuster with 60 votes. However, if it's only about budgets, you can actually, turns out, pass it with 50 because everything is fun in America. And so we can get a lot of stuff done in the package with budget reconciliation, but it's unclear if we can get the $15 minimum wage. So like the Republicans passed the quote repeal of the mandate for or they tried to anyways because McCain voted against it for Obamacare, for voting down Obamacare, and they had to do it through reconciliation. And the originally they were like, we're going to repeal the mandate, and the Senate parliamentarian was like, you can't do that. And they were like, okay, well, we're not going to get rid of it, but we're just going to take it to zero. And she was like, cool. So there's lots of weird shit you can do, and maybe we can do that with the $15 minimum wage. But I don't know. We'll see. We probably can't get that in there, but there's going to be a lot of other stuff that's going to be good. And I don't know, maybe Republicans could just vote for it because that would be pretty fucking rad too.
Yeah, so, fat chance.
But it costs too much money.
Yeah, look who cares about the budget. Yeah, look who cares about the budget again.
Exactly.
And it's also just that thing of like, well, what else are you going to spend? What else is this money for? And like, I get like, for sure, like you can totally debate all of the like earmarks and all of the things on it. Like totally, like I get it. But like the core of the bill, and you know, sometimes what the bill is called and is not actually like where most of the money is going. But it's like, in this case, it is my understanding. And it's like, what else are you for, federal government, other than when like there's some fucking worldwide pandemic that is destroying everyone's economic, their income, and you have kids suffering? Like, what else are you for? What is the point of a government if you're not going to help people and bail them out economically in a situation like this, right? And it's like, I understand it's complex, but that's your job, is to figure that shit out and to help the American people. So, a lot
of this money is going to go back into the economy. Like if you give people $2,000 checks, especially if you do some means testing, which there's a whole debate about that. But if you do some means testing to get some Republicans on board, it's like, okay, if it's, people making less than $75,000 a year, how many of those people will actually need to spend that money right now? It's not going to go down to, savings. It's going to be like, we're going to put this right back into the economy, which is going to stimulate getting more jobs. It's going to dig us out of the economic recession that we have right now. And if we don't go big enough, like one of the reasons we think we might have had a really slow gain out of 2008 is that TARP didn't go big enough.
In
2008, we should have put more money into it. We didn't. So we need to, if we overshoot, but we better make sure that we don't undershoot this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's, I mean, like, I know this is not apples to apples in any way at all, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to make the comparison. Anything is, we all know that trickle down economics does not work. If you're listening to this podcast and you don't know that, go look up all the studies about it. There's one that came out recently, like a big study that was basically just like, it definitely doesn't work. But we all can know that rich people just amass wealth and just like, buy yachts from each other or whatever they do. But it's like, if you believe in that, it's like, well, who else is richer than, lots of people are richer than the American government, but the federal government has a lot of money. So why don't we just trickle down that money to the people and see what happens to the economy? Because conceivably that is what you believe. So let's go ahead and try that at a large scale and see what happens. I actually don't believe it's apples to apples, but if it gets you to give me my $1,200, give me my money.
And maybe we just keep that coming. Mm-hmm, like maybe we just go ahead and fold that into a UBI. Be like, hey,
that's right. Mitt Romney's talking about that. For families with kids, he's talking about a UBI. Yeah. He's not calling it that.
Well, I think it's a child tax credit, I believe.
Yeah. Was that the like monthly stimulus they're talking about creating?
I don't think it's exactly that. I think it's a thing that like exists currently, but they're going to expand it to $3,000. So like if you have a kid, you get some taxes off, and this will extend it more. Okay, I think is my understanding.
I don't know it so well, but yeah, I mean, I think this is the time to figure out all of these things. And otherwise it's fine because we're all just going to organize and squeeze GameStop, diamond hands to the moon, and redistribute the wealth ourselves, you assholes.
Oh man. Speaking of which, I do hope if you're listening to this podcast and you heard that episode that you sold it when I said sell, because that thing tanked. Holy crap.
No, Blake, you don't sell. You diamond hands to the moon because the whole point is that we keep control of the stock. Don't you understand the point is that you do not sell? Now, the whole point is that actually you don't sell. I mean, like, obviously some people are always going to sell, but we need enough people to not sell because, it went down. But Blake, have you looked at it recently?
No.
Back up to $100 a share, baby, today. Back up to $100 a share. It's coming back. Coming back.
Yeah.
There's theory that it could go up over $100,000 a share if enough people hold for long enough.
I saw some like insane numbers like that.
Yeah.
It's very possible. And that's how those stocks work once enough like volume and interest is developed, especially now that people know it's kind of like it's going to go up and down. People are going to trade it more frequently. So it could get pushed up to something crazy like that, but be careful.
It's almost like money is made up.
Almost like it's made up. I know. Listen, I'm like new to all this shit and I don't know enough about it, but I'm like, if you have enough resources where you have a few $100s around that you are willing to try and experiment to redistribute wealth and take it away from the hedge fund fucking managers, buy some GameStop stock.
So on that note, I will go through some suggestions of things you can do with your stimulus money if you don't really need it.
That's great. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you can obviously donate it to a good cause.
Or buy GameStop stock.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, actually, I think there was a story of somebody I heard in the news who I think they made a lot of money, like $100,000 or something. And I think they gave half that to charity.
Nice.
So you could do that. You could pay down some of your debts. That's always an option. Mm-hmm. It doesn't sound very exciting, but your debt collector will be excited about it. You could shrink your insurance bills. I'm reading this off Yahoo Finance. I can't take credit for this. Refinance your mortgage if you've got one.
That's right.
And that's all I got. Not very great. So
I would say you can go to a grocery store and buy groceries, and then if you can, tip people. Buy from local restaurants. That's a great thing to do. Like, pick your favorite restaurant that you love going, that you want to make sure sticks around through this, and order food, and then fucking tip your driver. Like, it's gonna mean a lot more to them probably than it'll mean to you if you don't really need your stimulus check. So think about good ways to use that.
Yeah, continue to redistribute that wealth. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Think of new and interesting ways that you can take that stimulus money and re-stimulate it in your community. On that note, should we wrap it up, gentlemen?
I think I'm stimulated enough, y'all. Godspeed.
Uh-oh. Good thing we have an explicit warning.